Imagine discovering an old silver coin inside a forgotten wooden chest, assuming it is nothing more than a piece of antique metal, only to learn that collectors would pay more than $10 million to own it. It sounds impossible, yet this is the true story of one of the most legendary coins ever created. But why would a coin no larger than the palm of your hand become more valuable than luxury homes, priceless paintings, or private jets? Was it made from a mysterious metal? Did it belong to a president? Or does it carry a secret that changed the history of an entire nation? The deeper historians investigated this coin, the more astonishing its story became. Its journey begins not in a museum or an auction house, but in the year 1794, when the United States was still a young nation struggling to build its future. Only a few years had passed since the American Revolution. The country had won its independence, but political freedom alone was not enough. A nation also needed its own economy, its own institutions, and most importantly, its own money. Across America, merchants still relied on foreign coins, especially Spanish silver dollars, because there was no trusted national currency. Every transaction reminded people that true independence had not yet been fully achieved. The leaders of the young republic understood that if America wanted to stand alongside the great nations of the world, it needed a currency that represented its own identity. To achieve this dream, the United States established the Philadelphia Mint. It was more than a factory for producing coins. It became a symbol of national confidence. Skilled craftsmen worked with limited tools, primitive machinery, and enormous expectations. Their mission was simple in words, but extraordinary in reality: create the first official silver dollar of the United States. The responsibility for designing the coin was given to engraver Robert Scott. Instead of honoring a king or queen, he chose Lady Liberty as the face of the new nation. Her flowing hair represented freedom breaking away from oppression. Around her were 15 stars, each representing one of the 15 states in the Union. On the reverse stood a small eagle surrounded by a wreath, a quiet but powerful symbol of a country that hoped to grow stronger with every passing year. Every line carved into the dies reflected the ideals of liberty, independence, and hope. Creating the coin was far more difficult than anyone expected. The mint used large hand-powered screw presses that required tremendous physical effort. Unlike modern machines capable of producing thousands of perfect coins every hour, every strike in 1794 demanded precision, strength, and patience. Even then, the equipment often failed to apply enough pressure, leaving many coins with weak details. Those imperfections, once considered flaws, would one day become clues that helped experts identify authentic examples. Historical records show that only 1,758 flowing hair silver dollars were struck during 1794. At the time, nobody imagined these coins would ever become famous. They entered everyday circulation like ordinary money, passing from one hand to another in shops, markets, taverns, and trading posts. Farmers used them. Merchants counted them. Travelers carried them across the growing nation. To the people of that era, they were simply currency. As decades passed, the fate of most of those coins was tragic. Many were worn down through constant use. Others were melted for their silver when metal prices rose. Some disappeared in fires, shipwrecks, wars, and forgotten collections. Every year, fewer examples survived. Without anyone realizing it, one of the greatest treasures in American history was slowly vanishing. Today, experts believe that only around 130 to 150 genuine examples still exist. Even more astonishing, only a tiny handful remain in exceptional condition. Every surviving coin has become a witness to more than 2 centuries of history. Each scratch, each tiny crack, and every sign of wear tells the story of its incredible journey through time. For generations, the flowing hair dollar remained respected mainly among serious collectors. Then, in 2013, something happened that stunned the entire world. One beautifully preserved example crossed the auction block and sold for more than $10 million. Newspapers around the globe reported the sale. Historians celebrated its significance, while millions of people asked the same question: how could one small silver coin become worth so much? The answer had nothing to do with the silver itself. The precious metal inside the coin represented only a tiny fraction of its value. What collectors were truly purchasing was history. This coin represented the birth of America's monetary system. It connected its owner directly to the earliest years of the United States, when every national symbol was being created from the ground up. Researchers believe the record-breaking specimen may have been among the very first silver dollars ever struck by the newly established mint. Its remarkable preservation allowed experts to study details that had almost disappeared on other surviving examples. Because of this, the coin became more than a collectible. It became a historical document made of silver. Every genuine flowing hair dollar has its own identity. Specialists examine microscopic marks left by the original dies, tiny surface scratches, and striking characteristics to distinguish one specimen from another. Just as fingerprints identify people, these unique features identify individual coins. Some examples have documented ownership histories stretching back more than a century, passing through the hands of legendary collectors before reaching museums or prestigious auctions. What makes the story even more fascinating is that historians continue to learn new information every time one of these coins appears for study. Small details in the strike reveal how early mint workers operated, where patterns provide clues about circulation. Even tiny imperfections tell stories about the tools used more than 200 years ago. Every surviving coin still has something new to teach. Today, the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar is considered one of the greatest achievements of early American coinage. Museums proudly display it behind protective glass, while collectors dream of owning one, knowing the opportunity may never come. Whenever a genuine example appears at auction, it attracts worldwide attention because such moments are incredibly rare. Yet perhaps the greatest lesson of this remarkable coin has nothing to do with money. Its true value lies in what it represents. It reminds us that history is often preserved in the smallest objects. A single silver dollar, once exchanged for everyday purchases, survived revolutions, economic crises, changing generations, and more than 2 centuries of time to become a priceless symbol of a nation's beginning. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar is not famous simply because someone paid millions to own it. It is famous because it represents the moment when a young country announced its independence not only through words, but through its own currency. Long after the people who created it were gone, the coin continued telling their story. And that is why, even today, this small piece of silver remains one of the most legendary treasures the world has ever known.